Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it. Houston, welcome to another episode of the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Tonight we have a busy one for you guys, talking mostly Houston Dynamo, and I'm joined by Cristian Potalias. Brother, how you been?
Hey, how's it going? Good, man. Just, chilling, watching Super Bowl and Eagles, fly Eagles or go Birds. I don't know. I was just there to eat wings. But yeah, we're doing good, man.
We should have a competition to see who can spell it right at this point, huh? Everybody gets it wrong. But alongside us is Joey Chavala. Bro, how you been?
Gentlemen, I'm fantastic. It was a good game. Well, actually, it wasn't a good game last night, but I was pretty happy with the outcome. I didn't have any wings. I had good pizza though.
Right. That's
good. I have some really good wings, but I'll pass that recipe to everybody once they're in here. But we're also joined by the boys of the Houston Dynamo in Spanish with Cesar Proced. Cesar, how you doing, man?
Good evening, guys. Doing well. Coming off that Super Bowl, probably worst Super Bowl I've seen in like 10 years. But it's.
It was fun to see Mahomes get it, though. That was like the happiest.
It was fun the first half, and then it's kind of got like, okay, come on, man. Like, there's nothing else gonna happen. Like, is anything gonna work for these guys?
Do something.
So, yes, I know, right? It's like, stop poking him. Like, he's already dead. Yeah, stop kicking him.
He looked so dazed and confused, and I know you probably already talked. Did you guys talk a lot of that of the game and Enganchados, or?
We talked about it for like 1 30-minute segment. That's but by the time we come on, it's 10 a.m. and I think everybody already knows what happened. So just kind of give our takes on the game and just kind of go from there. But I mean, everything else when it comes to Super Bowl, everything else already been spoken about. By the end of the game, and then the early morning, everybody was Super Bowl. So I was like, you know what, just give it 30 minutes and keep it moving.
Yeah, you probably talked about the Chivas game. They played also yesterday, so that's probably more.
I mean, Alan Pulido scoring a goal, finally scoring. At least one of the MLS players in Chivas is scoring, right?
He's still playing.
I mean, surprisingly,
he's in a wheelchair, but he's there.
Yeah.
Wait, Chivas still has Kate Clark, or is that his name?
No, okay, Kate Cowell. They have Kate Cowell, they have Chicharito, and they have Alan Pulido. Which, I mean, honestly, when Chicharito went down there, I don't know how many Chivas fans actually expected him to be like a major goal scorer for the team, considering he hadn't played in a year and he'd been injured, and I think he scored maybe like 1 or 2 goals in the past 2 years now, and so it's not
like Neymar.
The expectations weren't there.
He made so much money. Neymar made a lot of money. What were you saying, Joey?
So it's one of those nostalgia signings.
Oh
yeah, no, it was. I mean, it was definitely a money grab. I mean, I think he was the most sold jersey last year in the whole Liga MX. So that tells you, what the plan for Chicharito was. Can't hate on Mauri Vergara for that. If he's gonna bring a player that's gonna sell jerseys, and he's a guy that comes from the team, well, why not? And it's, and I think he was pretty transparent about it. I don't think they try to. Fool people into thinking, oh, he's gonna be, he's gonna make us champions. Yeah, not gonna happen. Not in Chivas, not in Liga MX.
It's difficult, man. As a Chivas fan myself, I see it just difficult for them to just compete with the rest of the teams there because of all the foreigners that they are able to bring in. Like Club America, hardly any Mexicans there. And
no, I don't necessarily feel that way though. I don't necessarily feel like that because. I mean, Chivas have been in semifinals for the past, 2 tournaments. Actually, the past 3 or 4 tournaments. They've been, pretty much like in the playoffs with all Mexican players. So I don't necessarily think having a bunch of foreigners is gonna makes a huge difference. I think it might make a difference for other teams like Mazatlan, like Santos, if they actually make it to the playoffs. That's when the money talks for the big teams, but. I don't necessarily think that applies to Chivas. I think the players are pretty solid, even though they don't necessarily get the best Mexicans available just because of the price. But I don't think it's a disadvantage. They just have Mexicans on the team.
I think we'll probably talk a little bit more Liga MX because obviously we know Leagues Cup it's a big deal coming up. But let's get started with some of the weekly news before the main section of this episode being, talking about the Dynamo and see what we can predict and what we can't predict and MLS related as well. But just starting it up with Dash News. Yeah, not a ton of news in general, of course, but they did do a signing. They just picked up a free agent, a young, I believe they say Swedish. She looks Swedish to me, Evelina Dujan.
Mm.
Um, last played with Orlando Pride. The Orlando.
Does she look Swedish to you?
Yeah, the
That,
Londe.
that's what.
That was that the joke.
Guys, I thought you guys knew me. But okay, right.
I was like,
It's a little sarcasm there.
okay, I was like, what? Being serious.
And yeah, so obviously she spent time with the champions of the NWSL, only played about, I believe, 8 games. So a depth piece for sure. And she's only signed for the 2025 season. So again, nothing spectacular happening so far with that. And just to say that in the background, we do have Edson controlling all the slides. So thanks for that, Edson. We won't put you in the spot. Last time I threw him in here, and he was like, I saw that he went and changed shirts. I think he was like, he felt bad that he had a bad shirt or something in here, man. But
he was wearing a Real Madrid jersey.
that too. I saw
So
him.
you're really saying if the slides get messed up, it was Edson's fault.
It was Edson. We'll blame Edson.
Blame the producer unless everything still turns out, just
Exactly.
fine.
All right, and then the only other thing to add here is that they are going to the Coachella Valley Invitational. They'll be playing their first match Sunday at 2 p.m. Central Time, and you can stream that on My 20 Vision. So yeah, you can not stream. I guess it'd be
This
televised, but
channel, that's the TV channel.
that's
right?
UPN.
Yeah, it used to be UPN 20. I guess it's the same one. That channel's still around, man. You know what? I'm so out of touch with the on-air channels.
Yeah, don't you need like a box or something like that?
Probably.
Yeah, like one of those
Well,
new boxes.
I'm sure some of the local
Back in the day,
providers,
Channel 20 was the bomb. I'm not gonna lie. You used to have like a lot of
they had the
cool shows.
cartoons. They had the early morning cartoons on a weekday basis, I think.
Yeah, I remember that I would watch Channel 20 quite a lot, like 20 years ago, and I don't know what happened now.
They didn't have
Maybe
you
like
didn't have a choice.
But that's true
Yeah.
too. That's true
It was
too.
that one or 39.
And then lastly, when it comes to I guess the Dash and intermingles a little bit with the Dynamo, Tim Howard is gonna be available for media to discuss obviously the season coming up for both the Dash and the Dynamo, as well as the U.S. women's national team taking what's it called? They'll be playing playing one game for the 2025 She Believes Cup. So it looks like they may be a couple. I don't know if it's official yet, but there's a couple players supposedly from the Dash in that list. So stay tuned. I believe that list comes out tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So it'd be fun. Are you gonna be there, Cesar? What do you like? About, She Believes Cup.
Yeah, we're planning on covering it. It's going to be Japan versus Australia, I think, and then USA versus Colombia. So yeah, we're planning on being there. Honestly, we make sure we cover those type of games just because a lot of people don't, and I feel like it's a disservice, especially you can't go around telling people, hey, we support women's soccer and then not cover it. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of the general market media does. We support girl sports, but then they don't. And you guys have been there. They don't show up to the actual games. They don't show up to support throughout the season. So, we'll definitely be there.
And you know what? And that's one good takeaway from the Super Bowl. There were so many commercials regarding like women's sports just throughout. Nike was one of them, and so it was kind of cool to see all that for sure too. So again, kind of slice into Dynamo news, which is not a lot. The only thing that we didn't cover last week was the fact that they went to Frisco, Texas, and played FC Dallas, which I believe it ended up being a 2-2 result, with both Eric Duenas and Eric Sviatchenko being the goal scorers. There was, I believe, a 45-minute and then 30 minutes. It was one of those weird ones, preseason matches. But the starters got the best of FC Dallas, winning 2-0, sorry. And so Nothing crazy. We've talked about this, Cesar. I mean, what can you really take away from those preseason games, right?
Yeah, not a whole lot. I mean, honestly, it's not like the like NFL preseason where the games actually seem like actual games. For MLS, it's more about getting the players in game rhythm and to see who's in shape and who's not. We can't really take the results from a pregame, from a preseason game, to heart, especially when they're closed doors, with two 30-minute halves and then one 45-minute half. I think it's just really been trying to see who's in shape, who's out of shape, who needs to get worked on a little more, and that's it. I mean, just get the players back into rhythm for the game.
Yeah, I think the craziest part, Joey, is like not getting injured, right? I think you see Galaxy. I believe they lost. Was it John Pencil? For like 6 to 8 weeks. I think that's what it was reported.
Yeah, Pencil's out for a bit of time, and that's on top of the Ricky Puig injury they have too. So the Galaxy, we can talk about this later in our predictions, but I think the Galaxy might struggle this year a bit.
Yeah, it may take a little bit of dip. And then the Dynamo do close out their preseason this week. They'll be playing on Wednesday. They'll be flying to like Fort Lauderdale area, and on Wednesday they'll be taking on the Columbus Crew at 5 p.m. Central Time, which I doubt any of this stuff is going to be streamed to people that ask. And then February 15, which I believe that's a Saturday, they'll be taking on DC United at 9:30 a.m. So those are the two remaining games, and you just hope that no one gets hurt. That's a big deal.
It is, especially when you have a team that you're not exactly sure how it's going to work this season. You know what I mean? Get a lot of new pieces to it, and so you're not sure what to expect out of the team for this upcoming season, with two big games starting off with Dallas and then Inter Miami, which normally we wouldn't care that it's Inter Miami, but in this case, all eyes on them again, right? New head coach, obviously supporter shield winners. And they're going for, like we said in Mexico, for all the canicas,
the marbles, yeah, for sure. And then just to close it out, Dynamo related, they do have a fan fest on Sunday. I believe it's starting at 1 p.m. So I think we had mentioned it a few episodes back. It's just a time for fans and season ticket holder members to show up, get autographs, take pictures. I'm sure they have games, and I know they do have some kind of fire sale for the Houston Dynamo charities. So those are fun for the fans. I wish I was there. I'll be out of town, but I tend to enjoy going to this type of events, as you can see the players intermingle with all the fans. Man, Chris, are you going to be there for this? Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow, so we'll figure it out when we get to
it's like, ask me Saturday morning.
Yeah, for real.
That's so true. And sometime between there and now, the New Jersey would be, I guess, officially released.
It's February 16. Isn't that a Sunday?
It is, and I put Saturday. You're right.
It's my dad's birthday.
Good
I
job.
should probably know that. Yes.
So then you're not going.
Shout out to my dad. Yeah.
So Sunday, February 16. You're right, because the Dynamo are still on Saturday. They'll be in Florida still, so they'll be back for Sunday. Anything you want to add regarding what we talked about, Chris, so far?
No, if you want to, if Edson can go back to the picture with Eric, I just want to shout out that picture. Aldo and Ricky went out to Dallas and to kind of cover the game, take pictures. But this iconic picture, it has to be framed. So we're not gonna tell Edgar to do it.
Can we get Eric to autograph it? Not for us. I mean,
I get
Cesar,
like a raffle.
We'll say that it's for Cesar. Like we'll say it was for Cesar.
Just limit on me. Just let
But it would be cool. Like if we could print it out or have him sign it, we can give it to a fan for one of the fan feuds.
Yeah. It looks like one of those classic pictures you take and then you can find on eBay.
Yeah,
right.
It kind of gives like Manota vibes against Portland.
It gives me it gives me Gladiator vibes. Are you not entertained? It hits you with that, especially when you see the entire picture. It looks
it's crazy because like you see the guy on the floor, Abu Was it the guy? He was in Colorado. I didn't even know he went to
Bakar.
Dallas.
Yeah.
That guy. I don't know how he plays with that hair. By the way, like everything must shake in his brain. And then it just every single person in that picture looks defeated, which is crazy. Ugly jersey, and they look defeated. And
Well, you don't like this jersey, the Dallas jersey?
Yeah,
I think
I like
the
it.
burn one from last year.
I think it's nice. I don't.
It's all right.
The
Is it
burn one?
new?
That was the
Yeah.
2020 one, wasn't it? The one with the flames on it?
Yeah.
No, it was
That one was awful.
yeah, that was gross. But that
It
was
was
like
like
a
the white
throwback,
shirt,
white
right?
one.
Yeah,
That was the
that
away
was
one.
throwback.
Flames on it. That was
Yeah.
awful.
I don't know. I think I did a video about it, and I said it was bad. So I gotta stick to my guns.
You can't go back.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
can't
I
go-
go back on certain things, but not on this one.
This is soccer. You can go back anytime you want.
That's true.
Nah.
Some people have like 30 teams too. So it
Shut
doesn't
up,
matter.
Manny.
And then just to close out the slides before we go into the predictions, the Houston Dynamo 2 are also starting their preseason since they got their first match canceled against Houston Christian University February 12th. So that's also on a Wednesday. They'll be taking on North Texas SC. And then on Sunday, they'll be playing against New York City FC 2. So that's what's happening for them this week as they get closer to their own season to start, man. How much you like covering soccer in general, Cesar? I know you with TUDN and with Encanchados, you cover like anything sports related, but you know,
If I had to choose like my favorite sports to cover,
baseball's first, of course, right? For you,
yeah,
or
but I think baseball's first. I like covering soccer. It's just sometimes they make it hard for you.
Mm.
It seems like instead of giving you access, especially I think if you do it for a certain amount of years, I think most teams would know what kind of coverage you do or what kind of person you are or what type of reporter you are. And sometimes they make it a little harder for you. They instead of giving you access to the players or like if you ask for someone specific, chances you have something in mind, and they just make it really hard for you to access. So the waiting around really gets to me. I hate that they make you wait around for so long just to get a 30-second bite, if that. And then sometimes they sneak out the back. So I'm not talking about just Dynamo. Just in general, they do that. I mean, the Argentina national team last year for Copa America after the final, they made people wait. When I say people, like hundreds of reporters wait in the back in the mix zone. They waited, till 2-3 in the morning, and then they all snuck out the back. Like not a single one stopped to talk to the press, and they just had them waiting there for hours, which I think is just disrespectful. And that's the only part that I wish would change about covering soccer.
Yeah, even that well, I was gonna say even that international game, the or was it Leagues Cup? Sorry, when Tigres and Inter Miami did, they everybody that you kind of wanted to talk to, they just went through the back. Obviously, there was no Lionel Messi, but Busquets was there, Alba was there, and those guys. You got. I think that the only people they made available was like the second string.
No,
like,
there was
right back. I think.
No,
right?
Miami. I don't. Well, I might be wrong, but I don't think any Miami person.
I think it was one guy, and that was it.
Yeah. Because Dustin talked to him. Yeah, I remember that.
Honestly, I think it also depends. Which one was it? Whenever Messi played here with Argentina, they played Ecuador, right? Was it? Yeah, I think it was Ecuador.
Yes.
And after the game, I mean, Messi stopped and he talked for like a solid 40 minutes to all the reporters that he could in the mix zone, and they all stopped. And there are other times when they say, it's only 3 players and that's it. Tigres, they're notorious for not talking to the press whenever they lose. Like if they lost the game, they're not talking to you. Not Nahuel, not anybody. Oh, another Argentina, bro. All these Argentinians, you see.
No, blame it on Edson. Blame it on Edson. Don't
blame it on Edson. Hashtag blame it.
So that's one thing I appreciate in other sports like the NFL and NBA. Like win or lose, like you're going to get the quarterback. You're going to get the star NBA player. Like in MLS, it's like, we'd want to talk to Hector Herrera, and they're like, "Oh, here's Daniel Steres again." And that's just ends up always being how it goes.
I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'm just here so I don't get fined. That's no, but you're right, because I mean, mentioning Hector Herrera, obviously after that red card at the end of the game, no one ever talked to him after, right? As a Dynamo player, It was more once he was gone. He did talk to a few reporters, stuff like that. But sometimes you just want to talk and see kind of what's behind, in the back of their mind, and with all the issues kind of
Oh,
happening.
and I mean no disrespect towards
That's true.
Daniel Stairs either. Y'all know I love him.
Dude, super sub. The guy's a baller. I could talk to him every week. We ain't go golfing. Never golf, but I can go. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I think in general, most of the players are actually pretty nice at Dynamo. I mean, even Hector for at least a solid season and a half, he would talk to everybody every weekend.
Yep.
And that's that's kind of unheard of when it comes to DPs. I think after the last season, when that whole incident, I talked to him briefly off camera, and then he took off. But I think he kind of figured out, hey, I'm gonna just get dressed and I'm gonna cross over the line so that I can walk next to the reporters, and then they won't interview me because I'm not technically in the mix zone.
Right.
So I think he figured that one out, and he started just doing that every game after that. But yeah, no, like Joey said, some of the most of the teams like MLB, NFL, they give you access to the locker room every single time you go and approach any player that you want, and if they want to talk to you, they'll talk to you. If they don't, they'll just say no, not today, and it's not a big deal. But at least they give you the access. I mean, I'm talking like you can go in the Yankees locker room after losing the World Series, and a lot of the players will talk to you. And it doesn't happen that way with soccer in general. They just don't give you that kind of access, and they want the promotion, but they don't want the part that comes with it. You know what I mean?
That's true.
That's true.
That's true, man. I didn't even think about that. But
We need to do something, Don Garver. Come on, guy.
Yeah.
Come on, guy. We need
I
to
think
find
it's gotten even more difficult with Apple taking over as well. So I think that they want just to keep all that exclusive, content to an extent.
Yeah,
no, not
but
necessarily.
No.
Not that side, at least.
Like with selecciones, like with the national teams. So with Mexico, it's a girl. Her name's Natalia. She's usually one handling the media part of it, and she'll come out and tell you, hey, it's we're gonna have 3 players available, 2 players available. It's gonna be this one, and this one, and these are the authorized players to talk to the press. And sometimes all 3 of them will show up. Sometimes only 2 will show up. Sometimes 1 will show up, and that's pretty much how they run it. It also works like that. I mean, I've done some Premier League games, and same thing. They just kind of some of depends on the team. Honestly, it depends on the team. Some teams are a lot better about talking to the press than others.
The Dash are pretty awful with it.
Yes.
Especially the pregame ones, like the postgame ones, you guys get the players a little bit more, but the pregame press conferences, like the Dynamo, usually always get a player in Ben, and then for the Dash, I think we maybe had a player like 2-3 times in the last 2 seasons.
I think with Dash, if you request, I mean, I don't know if you guys have tried, but whenever I've requested a player, they're usually pretty good about making the player available. Sometimes
like for one-on-ones, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or even through, or because usually by the time they finish practice, I'm still on the air, so I can't really go down to HSP. But I could tell them, hey, I want to talk to Diana Ordóñez or something, and we'll set up a time, and then usually after training, like 1:00, 1:30, then we'll do like a quick Zoom call, and then that's how we do the interview. Unless I head down there, but usually they're pretty good about making them available to you if you ask.
Yeah.
You just gotta ask, Joey. That's it.
Yeah, we gotta ask. Gotta hit
Edgar. But guys, we've gotten to the moment. Let's talk more predictions, man. I enjoy talking predictions because it just makes you look silly when you come back and see this at the end of the season. And
you ever come back and look at it?
Oh hell yeah!
I don't think I've done it. I don't think I've come back.
We'll make fun of each other.
We did the end of last year. We all made fun of each other. When I said Jesus Ferreira was going to be the MVP.
Yeah.
You said who? Jesus Ferreira?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was injured like 70%
of
the game.
I still think my reasoning wasn't too bad. I was expecting him to be running the 10 behind Velasco, Areola, and Peter Musa all season, kind of carving up defenses. And then he just kind of got hurt, and so did Areola, and so did Velasco.
There goes Dallas.
Dallas.
But hey, that's a good idea. Edson said we could do a reaction video at the end of the year about our predictions and laugh at
Do it.
ourselves.
Like, wow, how wrong were we, huh?
How
How
stupid
terrible
are
are we? Yeah, we had fun with it because you're just laughing. I'm like, wow, we got that wrong. And obviously, it all changes, right? Nobody had Ponce coming in the middle of the season
No.
or players like that. So it's
I nailed the
relative.
Dynamo ones last year. I think I had like all of them right except for team MVP.
Yeah. So let's start with the
I feel like we got to do predictions pre Leagues Cup and then predictions post Leagues Cup.
That would be
That's
cool.
a good
true.
idea. Yeah.
That's true too. Yeah, you're right. Because that way it gives you a better
Yeah,
idea of kind of where they're at.
that's when
It's
that's when the new players come in and leave the team also. So
That's also some good
All right,
content for during that break.
before we get into it, since the Leagues Cup was brought up, so who is the Dynamo playing? Are they playing Tigres? They're playing Cruz Azul? They're playing who the heck are they playing?
Well, for sure they leaked that Tigres was one of the teams, but Edson it's definitely coming to watch that game. I'm sure he's going to go come watch if Tigres shows up to play the Dynamo.
He's gonna wear those, those jerseys that have like half a team.
That's the worst. That's the worst.
real talk, Mexican fans are gonna usually wear the Mexican team's jersey.
Oh
Nah.
yeah. It's only like
Just
the
get
peop-
sick, Edson.
like my dad. My dad is definitely the guy that would wear like half the kid. You know, whenever they had like the half U.S., half Mexico. My dad.
Oh, those were
wanted-
ugly, man.
My
Those
dad
were
wanted that
those
shirt
things were
so
so
bad.
ugly, dude.
And I was
It's
like,
like anything
are
for
you
papers.
No, you know what's really the really ugly ones, the ones with half America, half Mexico national team.
That's
Like
gross.
those are just terrible. I'm like, why would you do that to yourself? Or even half Chivas, half Mexico. They're just ugly jerseys, man. I don't understand it. I'm like, just wear either one. You're fine.
Edson, they're saying Harry Austin is asking, what kit are you gonna wear? You would wear Tigres, right? 1,000%. 1,000% he wears it.
Put him on the spot. Put him on the spot. He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Dynamo.
Yo, they're like, dude,
Last time Tigres and Dynamo played against each other in CONCACAF, I was rooting for the Dynamo.
dang,
All right.
it's bold.
But all right, let's get started with the first question because we do have quite a few, and I want you guys to give me an answer, elaborate a little bit of why you think the way you think. So if it's repetitive, if it's you don't have to add much, but if it's something completely different than any of it, we want to know why. But where will the Dynamo finish in the Western Conference standings? Do remember, not obviously you guys know, but everybody else needs to know that San Diego, it's a part of the Western Conference, so you get one extra team there. They did finish in 5th place last year. Joey, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
That was
what are
third.
you guys thinking? Joey, you want to start if you've
Yeah. I'll kick
thought
it
about
off.
this one?
So the way I went and did it, I went and looked through all the teams and went and said, who do I know I think is definitely better than us? And honestly, I think there's only 3 teams where I could very, very confidently say are much better than the Dynamo. And then there's like 2-3 teams I'm like, maybe not. So I'm just gonna leave it at 5th.
But that's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, I think they kind of stay around the same. I think they're gonna be a little better scoring goals. The playmaking might be a little bit down without Herrera, but I think McGlynn will come in and step up really well. And Ponce for a whole season, we're probably going to have someone who's going to come in and score 15 to 20 goals, in my opinion. I think Ponce is really good.
Yeah, see, so Cesar tends to be the negative as I get to know him more. So Cesar, tell us what you think. And obviously, Joey mentioned a little bit, you lose Coco, you lose Hector Herrera. What's your train of thought here, man?
I'm actually not that worried about the team as I thought I would be with losing Hector Herrera. I think Dynamo can end up top 3 on the Western Conference.
Hey?
The only teams that I think would maybe give us a headache would be maybe like Real Salt Lake, maybe LAFC.
San Jose.
Or even Seattle Sounders.
I think Seattle.
Yeah, even Seattle Sounders. I don't, Portland. I was expecting a lot from Portland last season, and they completely disappointed.
Real Salt Lake lost a lot of pieces too.
Yeah, so I think Dynamo could easily end up top 3 in the Western Conference this season. I'm not that worried about losing Hector and losing Coco Carrasquilla. I think the pieces that they've been adding, with Jack McLean and Eric Dueñas, I think that was a pretty good addition of the team. I don't see the Dynamo falling too far behind, like since before they got Jack McLean and Eric
Yeah,
Dueñas.
for sure. Yeah, and I'm with you. I think originally when you saw Hector and Coco leave, especially when Coco left, and I think whenever I joined your show like a month ago, I mentioned that I was like, you have Coco, but now Coco leaves. That made me like kind of worry a little bit. But with the addition they've done, I think I feel good about it. Not fantastic. I think you still need to add a couple more pieces, and everybody keeps talking about DP10. But I'm kind of with Joey. I think maybe fifth place is kind of where I see them going. Chris, what were you thinking?
Obviously, yeah, we all have the same train of thought. Same thing. Who is going to be in front of the Dynamo in the sense of who's going to give them a hard time? Obviously, I mean, we mentioned a few: Seattle, maybe San Jose, who's kind of building up a team with Bruce Arena. And just your usual suspects, right? Your Seattles, your maybe Portland's. I don't think they're gonna build anything, but LAFC, LA Galaxy. It just kind of depends. But just to kind of cut it in between, I'm gonna say fourth place.
Fourth place.
Just because I believe, and I feel like the Dynamo are going to be a competitive team as well. So it's not gonna be those times that you don't know. So you kind of put them in eighth place because you're
Right.
like, well, we're good, but we're not that great. I feel like you guys are saying, they're building up a team that is going to play well with the system that Ben Olsen has. So they're going to be competitive, and they're going to be a headache for a lot of other teams. So fourth place for me.
And I mean, we forget that obviously Lawrence Anali should be back sometime this season. Nelson Quinones. I mean, those are basically brand new additions to an extent, right? To like what we saw last year. So it's interesting for sure. So I'm kind of
bench.
Yeah, I'm glad that everybody at least here is thinking the Dynamo. There's no way they miss the playoff. Make it 3 straight. So
we can get Aliu out.
Well, here you go. Let's go to the next question. Who will be Dynamo's top scorer this season? And don't get mad. That picture right there is because Aliu was and is the top scorer in MLS last year for the Dynamo. How are you feeling with this one, Cesar?
Top scorer. I mean, I hope it's Ezequiel Ponce. That's why they brought him in, right? They brought him in from Greece, as a striker. So I expect Ezequiel Ponce to finally, start getting some balls passed over to him and him scoring some goals. Now that it's basically the road's open for him and maybe Aliu every once in a while, but I think Ezequiel Ponce has to be the Dynamo's top scorer this season.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'll say Ponce as well. I do find it interesting. Yeah, obviously 2 more games to go, but he's only scored 1 goal in the preseason, and not take it with a grain of salt. Obviously, it is a preseason, but you hope that he will get a couple, net a couple more in the preseason, especially with the teams that he's playing. Chris, what are your train of thought? You're going with Aliu, right? Ibrahim Aliu.
Of course.
37 goals.
He's going to score 7, and he's going to be top goal scorer. He's going to beat himself. Nah, man. Ponce. Same reasoning. I mean, you spend money on a guy as a striker. He scored a bunch of goals last year without – scored 2 goals? Oh.
Scored more than 2 goals?
And no, preseason.
Oh, this is about last year. Okay.
Yeah, but no, last year he scored a good amount of goals, and he was only half a year. You kind of see the potential that he has. You see how he kind of works around. Now that he has better service, in my opinion, I think he'll be able to put at least 13. That's my number. Shout out Taylor Swift. But yeah, 13 goals and up, and Ponce.
What about you, Joey? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've got the same train of thought. We'll also get into this when I talk about the Golden Boot later. In MLS, there's definitely a trend where forwards kind of have their best seasons in their second year in MLS. Second, third years is usually when strikers peak in MLS. So I think Ponce is going to bag 15 to 20 goals this year. I don't know if he's going to be in the Golden Boot conversation, but he'll be probably in the top 10 or so goal scorers, I think.
But you paid $8 million for this guy. Is that enough goals? It
doesn't matter. If they're winning games and they're competing, don't think it matters. I mean, he wasn't just brought in to score goals. He was brought in to be part of the build-up because we know he's good on the ball. He was brought in to be a big part of the pressing game, which is probably his best attribute. We saw him last season. You remember that Vancouver game where they just scored a boatload of goals and Ponce was all over the field. So yeah, if he scores 15, 20 goals and plays really well with the team, then I think he's well worth the money.
Yeah. And if he scores 5 goals and has like 10 assists, I'll take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so just to add to what Joey said, when Mexico came to play, I don't know I forgot who they played.
Was it
But
Brazil?
No, I don't think it was Brazil. It was a game here at Energy.
Oh,
and I remember we're in the mix zone, and Orbelin Pineda came out, and somebody asked him, "Hey, Dynamo just hired Ezequiel Ponce, and they were on the same team, him and Orbelin Pineda." So they asked him, "What do you think?" And Orbelin stopped for a second. He's like, "Man, he's good." Like his face was legitimate. Like that was a good, it was a good move on Dynamo's part. So I think it's her first full season for Ponce. And much like Hector Herrera's first full season was way better than his first half season, I think it might be the same trend here.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited to see Ponce, from the get-go. And I mean, he scored, I believe, like every other game, it seemed like last year. I think he netted 6 total in like 12 games, 12 to 14 games. So, I mean, the guy can score. So if you give him opportunities and you give him some crosses and, good, what's it called? Yeah, flashes in front of goal, I think he can put them in the back of the net. Moving to who's going to give that, assist to Ponce that gets at this rate. Who would the Dynamo's top assist leader this season would be? Bassi right there. Mr. Bassi himself got himself 6 last year, which actually, let me go back, train of thought here. The top scorers was Ibrahim Aliyu with 6 goals. Blessing had 5 and Ferreira had 5. And that's purely MLS last year. And for the assist leaders last year, you had Bassi with 6, Coco Carrasquilla with 5, and Ibrahim Aliyu with 4. So those were your top performers in that area. But Chris, we'll start with you, man. What are you thinking, assist leader?
So I have a dilemma here because my brain wants to go with Jack McGlynn, but my heart wants to go with Dorsey.
Okay.
I just think, I mean, if
I see where that's coming from. Yeah.
Just
because
because
Dorsey, he's never really had a high output of assists in a season yet, so that'd be a pretty big.
He had 3 last year, so he was top 4. So
look at this guy on the comments. See, he knows. Just for the sake of of playing around, I'll say Dorsey. I think he'll have at least 4, at least 4 for Dorsey. And I mean, if Aliyu had 4 last year all season, Dorsey getting 4 as a defender, quote unquote, I mean, that's really good. So put me down for Dorsey.
No, that's a good one.
I like that prediction. It's a little bold, but I like it.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. So Joey, tell us why McGlynn is going to be the assist leader.
Oh, I wasn't even going to go with McGlynn. I was going to go with Bassi.
There you go, creative piece, right?
Bassi. I mean, just look at the numbers last year. Bassi was in amongst the top players in chance creation numbers, shot creating numbers. He was in the top 5 in that category last season. I mean, the Dynamo didn't really have a lot of forward talent, so it didn't really translate to as many goals as it should have been. So that's why he only had 6 assists. But I mean, he's just one of those players. You get on the ball, he makes things happen. He creates opportunities. I think McGlynn will probably be in and around the mix because I think McGlynn is probably also going to take the set pieces as well. And we know Mikhail, Steres, Vyachenko, Dorsey, these guys are all threats on set pieces. So I think McGlynn will be close, but I'm going to go Bassi.
Yeah, Cesar, you go first before I say mine.
Man, that's a hard one because I kind of want to see who the starting lineup is for the at least for the center of the pitch. I'm gonna probably go on a limb here and say it's gonna be probably like Eric Dueñas, assuming he starts. I think it could be Eric Dueñas that's gonna be in charge of a lot of the assists, and also I want to see Griffin Dorsey do a lot more. But man, it's just once he gets down to the end of the pitch, it seems like he has trouble letting that ball go and creating an actual opportunity for the in this case for Ponce. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Eric Dueñas on this one.
Interesting. I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. So then
So,
I guess yeah,
looks
Joey.
like he's gonna be battling Kowalczyk for that spot on the right side.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be a good battle. I could see Dueñas winning that. He's pretty young. He's exciting. I really liked him with LAFC last year, so I dig that prediction.
Just let me throw this in because I feel like we heard somebody in the coaching staff, I believe, talking about Kowalczyk and how much he has improved and how much he was trying to improve in this offseason. So yeah, adding to that, that's really good to have competition, between Dueñas and Kowalczyk. I mean, that's only going to make the team better. So yeah, if any of those guys can get in the mix of assists, that's.
I mean,
that's
Kowalczyk's another name you could even add to the competition of this top assists.
Yes.
I mean, Kowalczyk's creative numbers last year were actually abysmal. He was one of the worst creative attacking midfielders in the league last year per numbers wise. He's more one of those players that strives off his work ethic and in the pressing department and the simple passing game. But yeah, he could make huge strides. I think we've seen him improve a lot from year 1 to year 2. He can make another big jump from year 2 to 3.
Yeah, my dark horse would be Kowalczyk. So for the record, I'm the negative against Bassi. I don't care how creative his numbers are. I'm never gonna pick Bassi. I don't know why. I think this is just the eye test guy on me. I can't give those numbers. But no, Jack McGlynn, man. I think last year he had like 7-8 assists. I think he could be the one to be the guy to feed Ezequiel Ponce and whoever else has that attacking pieces that they brought in, that DP10 that everybody keeps mentioning in the Houston technical staff. Next question here. This was more for fun and giggles. Who will be the Dynamo's first red carded player? I will add.
Easy.
No, well, I will add.
I already know what Chris is going to say.
Yeah, there's only 4 red cards happened last year, and
2 of them are gone.
That one.
Yeah, that exactly.
That's
2 of
exactly
them.
what you're thinking about.
So, Chris, go tell us who it is.
It's my boy Escobar.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get the first red card, I need to say. Let me see. What can I need to think of something. I already.
Who else? Who else? I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I think Mikael.
Really?
Nah, he's.
I mean, center backs are just the most
can
prone to
see
getting
that,
red
but-
cards. I mean, it could always be Artur as well because your 6 is also
The
get a lot of
only
red
answer.
cards.
The only answer is Tarbell. Tarbell's gonna fumble.
What?
Tarbell is good. They're gonna
That came
kick
out
the
of
ball
Rick.
back to him. This guy's gonna take a terrible touch and he's gonna get red carded. He did that in US.
That's rude.
I can see it
Wow.
happening, guys. Come on.
You just said Tarbell sucks, by the way.
I didn't say he sucked. He
Just
has a
like
bad
Memo.
touch. I'm glad we were able to go back. To see exactly what all right, so everybody thinks Escobar, possibly Mikael, and Tarbell's is who I'm going with.
It's good. I'm gonna go. Franco Escobar or Daniel Stairs.
Yeah. Oh, Stairs too. I can see that.
Stairs. He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, and I said player because I mean chances are high too that Ben Olsen gets a red card as well. So
This is true.
he's a fiery guy for sure.
I feel like Ben Olsen would get the red card in reaction to another red card.
Oh, his reactions are so
Yeah.
fantastic.
So
Yeah.
What?
And then he gets out of it and he's like the nicest guy in the world, right?
Yeah, exactly. He was like, ah. I did tell him the last time that he did get red card. I can't remember if it was this season or the season before that. And I ran into him on the corridor pregame. And I was like, hey, Ben, I told the guys that at least we won't get Angry Ben tonight because he wasn't there. And usually we would get a Angry Ben, post-game pressers. And he just laughed about it. So I'm like, yeah, it's true. We won't get Angry Ben.
Who's the last player that got red carded besides Hector Herrera?
Coco.
Coco.
Was Coco?
Yeah.
Was the
So
game
just
before now?
back to back. And then it was only Stairs and Dorsey. I think Dorsey got red carded like in the first or second.
Yeah, it was like
game
the
of
first
season.
minute of the Dallas game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, because we lost that game.
Yeah. So yeah, those are so far. And then we'll move into the who will be the Dynamo's team MVP this season. Last year, as pictured, Arthur was that guy. Man, this one's a little tricky, I think. Personally, I'll start it. I think Arthur is the MVP once more, which never happens. They never repeat. But this guy has been so crucial. And, without Coco and without Hector, you need him to continue to step up. So that's who I would be picking. Cesar, what are your thoughts on who could be the MVP this season?
I think it might be Eric Zvichenko. I think he's going to take a leadership role with Hector Herrera gone, and so I think he could end up being the team MVP.
That's a pretty good one. Joey,
I'm gonna go Bossy. So I think he's gonna lead the team in assists, and then also as well, Ben Olsen talked about the importance they're trying to put in getting him into some more goal scoring positions. How he's working hard on that. Because that's really his downfall last year. I mean, the last 2 seasons, he's not much of a goal threat outside the penalty spot. If he could really get that going, he could get 10 or so assists, add on a good 8 or so goals. I think that would be an MVP type season for him in terms of the Dynamo.
Mm-hmm. I like it. Let's finish up. What's up with you, Chris? What are you thinking?
I'm gonna say Aliyu.
Aliyu.
No. Jack McGlynn is going to be vital for this team. I think they're basically giving him Hector Herrera's jersey, and they're like, "Here, put it on, son. Do your thing. Do your game." As much as I want to say Arthur, because he's obviously like the heartbeat of the team in a sense, I think Jack McGlynn just I feel like he's going to be a very important piece in the attacking side of things. And obviously, you win games by scoring. And he's going to be the one to control the ball. I mean, set pieces and everything that kind of is being given to him as a player and kind of like a leader, even though he's very, very young. And it seems like the kid is going to, pick it up well, and he's going to run with it. So I'm going to say Jack McGlynn.
That's a pretty good one. So this next question, we mentioned it as, what is your Dynamo's bold prediction for 2025? This one's very broad. I'll give you some examples that we did last year. So I said they were going to win the CONCACAF Champions Cup.
Boy.
Clearly wasn't too bold. Joey has Steve Clark gets benched for Xavier Valdez. Even bolder than that. Then
they both got fired.
Yeah, they're both gone.
Yeah, they're both gone.
I should have said they both get benched for Andrew Tarbell.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten picked up, right?
He's on Nashville. Oh no, Steve Clark hasn't got picked up. Xavier Valdez is on Nashville.
I think he's retiring. That's what I'm thinking Clark's gonna do.
I saw him at the Rockets game. Breaking news! No, I saw him and Ethan Barlow at a Rockets game. When was it? It was probably maybe like a week before they got cut. Well, before Steve Clark got cut. I saw him at the Rockets game. Him and Andrew Tarbell. I mean, not Andrew Tarbell. Ethan Barlow.
Christian said last year that the Dynamo were winning 2 titles.
Hey, bold.
That is very bold. You should just have 1 title. And
they had already won last
the
previous year.
So those are some of the predictions. The Dustin, who's not here since his kid is not feeling all that well. Dustin said Hector Herrera plays less than 20 MLS games. So he got that one, right there. So stuff like that, Joey, do you want to start? Do you have anything?
Yeah. So I'm gonna say that it might take a month or 2 to get going, but the Dynamo's midfield as the season goes on is not gonna miss a beat without Hector and Karaskia. They're still gonna remain a lot of those top possession stats. And I think we're not gonna see that much of a difference. McGlynn's gonna step into that role really nicely. I'm gonna say Duenas or Kowalczyk are gonna play really well on the right side of midfield in that Coco role. I mean, I think there was a lot of times last year down the stretch where Kowalczyk, I think, outplayed Coco Karaskia in a lot of games. So I don't think it's gonna be as big of a loss because we know Coco wasn't always the right fit for that type of role because he was a little further up the field. He wasn't playing as an 8 like he likes to play. So I think Karaskia or Coco. Especially Kowalczyk is more of a fit for that role. So I think the team's gonna still be cooking in midfield.
Yep. My bold prediction is gonna be that Kowalczyk gets more goals than Bassi. That's gonna be my prediction. I believe it. And it's not because I dislike Bassi. And I think this cat can
Right,
score
right.
a couple bangers from outside the ball. And
He's still the backup striker at this point, right? I mean, they didn't
Yeah.
bring anyone else in
Yeah.
unless Gabe Siegel makes a
Not
step.
yet.
If Ponce gets hurt, Kovalchuk's stepping in at the line
Gabe
again.
Siegel, yeah.
Gabe Siegel, we believe too. But no, I do think that he can score a couple more goals from distance. You know, score a couple bangers. Chris,
Damn, it's hard. But I'm gonna stick with my predictions of winning championships, and Dynamo are gonna win the League's Cup.
yeah. So obviously,
Okay.
Leagues Cup, U.S. Open Cup, those are and MLS
I'll stick to one.
are
Just League's Cup.
3 competitions happening. And
I don't think any team in MLS or Liga MX can beat America.
I don't, you say that, but we could say that the last few years that some of the Liga MX teams are unbeatable in these competitions, and then we've had all MLS
Yeah.
finals every year, so it's kind
Who's,
of a thing.
because obviously not everybody's in Leagues Cup. We do have the FIFA Club World Cup happening as
FIFA.
well. So who's is America the
Nah, well, Rayados just got Sergio Ramos thinking they're gonna win something with him, but that's
hey, that's my red card. Can I give that as my possible red card? For sure, red card. Yeah, that's funny. So Cesar, did you have a prediction as well? Do you give it out?
bold prediction for 2025. Gabe Siegel goes back to Dynamo 2, and Kovalchuk gets offset in the summer, and we get a DP out of Spain.
Ooh, out of Spain.
Okay.
I like that.
It seems like you know something,
Yeah.
but you know we'll
That's a
just
bold
keep it at
prediction
that.
there, Christian.
They're bringing
Hey,
David.
I'm just saying.
They're bringing David Silva from retirement. I like it.
Guay.
Juan Mata. Is he still? No, Iniesta. Is Iniesta still going? I mean,
No, he retired.
Walton's-
Santi
he's in
Cazorla's
China.
still going.
Santi Cazorla, he still has kneecaps.
You're gonna
Man,
bring
that
Piqué out of retirement.
Oh, geez.
He's gonna bring what's the competition he has?
His hips do lie. We found that right. But let me see. All right. So next it'd be MLS, purely MLS. For a few of them, we'll go with who wins the supporter shields. As you can see in that picture, those are the 2024 supporter shield winners. Inter Miami. They just didn't really do
70
anything in the
goals?
playoffs. But who you guys think is gonna be the best team this year? Cesar, we'll start with you.
Let's go with. I'm gonna go with San Diego on this one.
Ooh.
I'm gonna give the new guys a chance. I think San Diego might be a surprise, and they might win the Supporter Shield. I don't know that they'll win the MLS Cup, but maybe Supporter Shield.
Are they getting Kevin De Bruyne? Is that the what pushes this?
That's what he's counting on. That's what he's counting.
Maybe Antoine Griezmann. I don't know, dude. Like,
Some-
this is-
Expansion sides only topped their conference once in the history of the league too. So one of them winning Supporter Shield because it was St. Louis the other year. They didn't win the Supporter Shield though.
Yeah, I was gonna say St. Louis was pretty dang close for their first year.
They had really no star players either. They did it with Leuven is an MLS star player, but he's not a Kevin De Bruyne level like star player.
Yeah. All right. So San Diego. Who are you thinking then, Joey?
So the Supporter Shield's only been won by a Western Conference team twice in the last 10 times. So I'm gonna go with the best East team, and I think it's gonna be Atlanta United.
That's a good
Almiron.
one.
Atlanta United. Wow.
They just
Wow.
spent a lot of money on the striker from Middlesbrough. They spent 20 million on him. He's very good. They got Miguel Almiron back.
Talk about a sentimental piece that right there. I
Yeah.
mean, the guy
Yeah.
can still play.
Dude,
He's
he's
like
very
30,
good.
31. Yeah, he's still young.
He's still in his best years. Moranchuk, he was a big piece brought in from Atalanta midseason last year. He really was coming into his own towards the end of the season, was a big part in beating Miami in the playoffs. I think he really breaks out and he's not going to be my MVP pick, but I think he might be in the conversation for it. I think he's going to have a huge season.
I like that pick. And then Chris, what are you thinking? He's gonna,
What do you think I'm gonna
he's
say?
thinking. He's computing.
I'm thinking. I don't know. I really want to say freaking San Jose. I don't know why San Jose is like
San Jose.
itching
Yeah,
at
you
me.
seem to have a lot of faith in San Jose this year.
Yeah,
Just
I
because of
don't
Bruce
know.
Arena.
So
I don't know
that's
why.
actually fair because I think New England missed the playoffs the year before
Mhm.
Bruce Arena came in and brought them
Barely,
the
right?
Supporter Shield. Yeah, I think they like just barely missed the playoffs, or whether they were like right on the line, like they just made it in and were first round exit.
If that
It was one of the
happens, I mean,
two.
he's like the coach of the year as
And
well.
yeah,
And-
because
Well,
I
he's
mean,
the
if you
best
look
coach in the league history.
Hold
So
on, so you're expecting San Jose to be like Colorado Rapids last year, where they came from the ashes and
I
just
am. Well, for sure they're making the playoffs. I mean, they're building a really good team.
their roster is pretty damn good.
It's good.
I
They
mean,
run
you
some
just
good
need Cristian
pieces.
Espinosa and a bunch of other bumps, and you can still get pretty close.
I mean, he's
That's
still there.
just
Cristian
He's still
Espinosa is
there.
really
As long as
good.
they got Chicho, Yosef's not the player he was, but he still could score you 10 plus goals. There was that one trade they made. They got like Dave Romney.
New England guys,
Well,
right?
yeah, they traded for a bunch of New England. It was Dave Romney. It was Ian Harks and someone else, and those are like three. It was three guys that like Bruce Arena really trusts and always had in his lineup in New England. So I think they're just building a really solid MLS core. And then Espinoza and Chicho
Justin
Arango are
Martinez.
just stud players. So
Yeah.
You got to back up. Justin
Mark
Martinez.
Anthony K was the guy you're talking.
Mark Anthony Kai, yeah.
And Nick Lima gets
Yeah,
back.
Nick Lima's another really good MLS player. Oh,
They did
he's
lose-
back. He wasn't San Jose before. That's right.
Yeah, and they lost Jackson Jewell, which I mean,
I think he's one of the most overrated players in MLS. I don't like Jackson Ewell much.
Cool.
all right.
Yeah, San Jose.
San Jose. All right,
San
so
Jose.
San Jose, Joey, who did you say?
Atlanta United.
Okay, Cesar, did you go
Seattle.
yet?
yeah, San
San
Diego.
Diego?
San Diego.
Okay, so I'm kind of with what Joey was mentioning, with the feeling like the Eastern Conference may get somebody, but then you look back and a lot of those players or teams that were top last year have lost those very specific players. Like Orlando City doesn't have Facundo Torres, right? He's gone. Acosta is leaving FC Cincinnati.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Cucho Hernandez is gone with Columbus to Betis.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna pick anybody, it's probably gonna be Inter Miami again. I think Messi and France can do it, and that's who I would pick on the Eastern Conference. But at the end of the day, I think the Western Conference gets it again, and I do think Seattle Sounders, with so many of the additions that they brought in. I mean, last year they were hurt with so many injuries, and this year they're bringing in players like, obviously Jesus Ferreira's in there now. You have I'm thinking of the guy's name and I'm blanking. Areola. There you go.
They
And-
took both of them.
Yes,
Yeah.
they took both of them.
They travel in pairs or what?
Basically, dude. And obviously it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, they were able to get a new contract for Rusnak. So I mean, that team is very stacked, and then you take in all the other players that they already had. I mean, losing Rui
Roscoe.
Diaz is not a big deal, but yeah, I mean, Jordan Morris is it's a FIFA GOAT for me, dude. Every time I play FIFA, I have to get Morris in there, even though he himself also doesn't have two knees anymore with all the ligaments issues he's
Damn.
run into. But
You
the
could've
guy is still baller, man. I mean, shoot, with my healthy knees, I still can't do that. So that's who I'm thinking. I think Seattle, gets that supporter shield this year.
Here's my thing with Seattle. Since what's his name came in as the coach, they have not been a team that's taken the regular season by storm ever. They haven't won the Supporters Shield in a long time.
Mhm.
It's because he likes to kind of rest guys. He kind of takes the Bill Belichick approach with the New England Patriots, where he kind of coasts to the regular season, gets them to the playoffs, and they really turn it on. So that's my thing with Seattle. I think they do have the best roster in the league, though.
Is he also dating a 20-something-year-old? Oh, well, that's besides the point.
Brent Schmetzer. I couldn't get his name.
Well,
notepad.
so if that's one trophy to win, who wins MLS Cup in 2025? Obviously, we
Damn.
know LA Galaxy won it. There's a lot of people. I mean, honestly, you look at the roster, it looks completely different. And then obviously you add injuries on top of that. Could they do a repeat? Maybe. I mean, I do agree. I mean, Ricky Puig is on a whole different level. And yeah, the players that they brought in, they've done so well. But Cesar, we'll start with you, man. Who you think would win MLS Cup in 2025?
Well, Dynamo, of course, man. I
course.
think it's time, right? It's time. It's time. Ben Olsen finally got the trophy he's been chasing. So, I mean, that's a really tough one. Honestly, it's a long tournament. It's a lot of competitions. There are a lot of changes on the team. I think. I mean, this is kind of part of the bold predictions, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Who wins the MLS Cup 2025? I mean, if I had to choose someone, obviously I'm going to be a little biased, and I think Dynamo has a good chance of taking it.
Yeah.
It's a very MLS centric team, and I've always felt like teams with a lot of MLS blood in them tend to be the winners on the league. So yeah, I'm going to go with Dynamo.
Yeah, that's a good one, man.
Let me throw a question in there, because I feel like the teams that usually end up winning the MLS Cup, it's obviously a good team, but they also have like one specific player that kind of not overshadows the right word, but he is like way above everybody else. I don't know if that makes sense.
We have
like,
a couple
for
of
example,
those.
do we? That's the question. Does the Dynamo have a player that can turn it on like Ricky Puig did for Galaxy, or what about when Cucho with Columbus? Like, do they or they? Yeah, Cucho, I guess mainly in that trio that they kind of had with Rossi and I guess Christian not Martinez. What's his name? Ramirez. But the question is, and to me, it remains. That's why I wouldn't pick the Dynamo, just because of that, because I feel like they still don't have that piece that would kind of stand out in a way, that would fight in the national level for the MVP race in the national level. But I mean, obviously, that's your opinion. But I was just thinking about that.
Just to answer that part, I think Nelson Quinones and Lawrence Enali could be those pieces that you're talking about. Those difference makers. Obviously, I don't know. I'm not sure when they'll be ready to come back. I know Nelson should probably be back in the beginning of April or so.
Yeah, plus those guys are overrated, man. Those DP10s, what did they get you? What did Acosta win?
Right?
What did Messi win? Come on, Messi didn't win it. So it's. I think the answer that Cesar are mentioning with those guys coming from injury, I could see it potentially, of course, happening.
Because I mean, it's a two-part. It's a season that is 2 seasons basically. It's like one of the seasons is getting into the playoffs, and then the other season is the playoffs. Yeah. So if you can be healthy enough to get to the playoffs, obviously great. And then the whole new game turns on into the playoffs, because it's a one-off basically, right? Unless you make the last spots, you have to go play twice or something.
Yeah, I guess I'll follow up, Cesar. I think that for the Dynamo to make it, they have to beat Seattle, and I just don't see them beating Seattle. So my prediction is going to be Seattle winning the MLS Cup in 2025. Joey, your thoughts?
I'm going with a little bit of a different pick. I'm going to go with FC Cincinnati. We've seen
Lucho was a problem. Is that what's happening here?
Lucha Costa.
Well, we already know if they're when we know he's leaving. Allegedly,
is he? Do we know?
He may be going somewhere.
He may be going somewhere that we know of. But we know they're going to spend a lot of money on his replacement, and they already went and spent a lot of money on the Bupenza replacement with Kevin Danke from Circle Bruges. This guy's like an absolute star of a striker coming in. And there's been rumors that the guy at Cincinnati might be bringing in to replace Lucho Acosta is going to be Evander. That was a big rumor that's been reported a lot. Orlano's been really good, but the story for Cincinnati is that defense. That defense is, they're going to have a back three of Matt Miazga now that he's healthy, Miles Robinson, and Tijan Ejidebe. And we know how good Tijan Ejidebe is here, and we know how good he is on the ball. So I think that's just going to win him, because the defense wins championships.
Yeah. That's good. I'm not a big fan of Miazga since he did that whole thing to Diego Lainez. It's like, why are you picking on a 3-year-old, man? Where are you? Come on. Where are you picking?
Not in front of the kids.
Oh, man, that's awful. No, but that's a good pick too, man. A little bit, again, Lucha could have been the problem. You never know. But defense, can win you games. Chris, what about you? Since you're hating on Dynamo, you're hating
No,
on all
I'm
this
not
thing.
hating on Dynamo. I'm just trying to be honest.
All right, here comes the
He's
Argentinian.
gonna, he's
out
gonna
of
pick
him.
Austin.
No, never.
Gotta pick
Even if,
Dallas.
even if Austin and Dallas had
Even if there is
Messi-
a fire.
if they had Messi, Iniesta, and Xavi, I would not pick any of those. But you know who I'm gonna pick just because it just came to my mind last. But I'm gonna say Miami. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's the year. They won the Supporter Shield last year. It just feels like they. Even though I believe it or not, I love Mascherano as a player. I don't think he's a good coach at all. But I think Messi just being Messi will be Messi.
See, Mascherano's why I didn't pick them.
Yeah.
I just don't.
yeah.
I don't. Most teams that win MLS Cup have a more experienced coach.
And the only reason I say that is because of what I mentioned earlier, like the two parts of the season, one being getting to the playoffs and the second part being in the playoffs and playing
and
the playoffs.
And you do
And I
have
feel
League
like-
Cups in between. You have
Yeah.
US Open Cup in between, which is they're not going to
Right.
stop the what's it called the MLS for that anymore. So it's going to
So,
be a
yeah.
different vibe altogether.
They're for sure getting to the playoffs. If they get to the playoffs, I think Messi will win it.
Jay Hurtado says checking in from LA. What did I miss, brother? It's an hour and
Everything.
5 minutes. So you missed a lot. So this is a good stopping side. Chris, you tell the people how they can connect with us, man.
There you go. If you missed anything, go to BayouCitySoccer.net. And that's where you're going to find all the information that you have missed. So go check it out over there. All the articles, all the press conferences, everything that you need is going to be there. Check out social media, Facebook, Instagram, X, Blue Sky. What else? And that's it. We ain't got no
Threads,
TikTok.
Yeah.
Thread. Yeah, check everything out. BayouCitySoccer.net. And if you're there, check out uglyguppy.com. Go help those guys out. Go get some good gear from them. And Elotes Bravos, because corn is good.
It hits. It
You can't.
slaps,
Your body
as the
doesn't
kids
digest
say.
it, but it's good.
Next question is who wins the London Donovan MLS MVP award in 2025? It says wins because I think
That was rigged,
I
but-
think Messi got gifted that one. Another
Yeah.
one of those gifted trophies for the for his countertop. But
Well, he
Cesar-
got NFL MVP, right?
he
He won the Super Bowl last night.
Yeah, Super Bowl MVP last night. Lionel Messi. Yeah, good job.
Yeah,
Messi.
I saw it.
he took the last kick too. He walked in instead of Elliott to take a
So
field
Jake
goal.
Elliott.
He was the guy kicking the what's it called, the field goals. You didn't see him, the little kid. Bro, that guy is not older than 16 years old.
Oh man, that's
He might as well have been the kicker for the Chiefs last night. I don't think he attempted a single kick the whole game.
yeah.
No, he didn't. Man.
He took the opening kickoff. That was all he did.
The
And,
helmet
and,
on.
they,
That's-
and then they
that's a
tried doing that
perfect job.
onside.
They
Oh yeah, they did the onside kick. A Messi could kick an onside kick. Come on now.
and they did go
He
for
did do the onside
2-point
kick,
conversion.
and I think twice, and they recovered both of them. The Eagles did anyway. So
Yeah.
no, it was. They had a bad night. Hey, there's a Mexican American kid from I think he's a kicker for LSU. I forget his name, but he might just look out for him. He should be pretty decent coming up in the next couple of years. MVP award 2025.
Oh, that's a good.
Damian
That's a
Ramos.
good one. Almiron, that's a good one.
LSU
that's
kicker
good.
Damian Ramos. I got you.
I don't think
Uh,
MVP's ever been a newcomer though, so I don't think Almiron will get it.
I'm gonna go with.
But he's
solid.
been in the league, dude. They're
That's true.
just gonna count it. They're just gonna be like, oh,
That's
this
true.
is the year.
I mean, they give it to Messi. Well, he's not a newcomer.
That wasn't
per
Messi's
se,
first
but-
year either.
Yeah,
That was Messi's second year.
Yeah. First year.
I'm
I'm
didn't
gonna go
count.
with Dennis Boanga on this one.
Ooh,
Okay,
Yeah,
that's,
that's solid.
that's a good pick.
I forgot about that guy.
yeah. It's like LAFC. Whatever happened to Carlos Bella? I know.
He
He's
came
not-
in back to
Yeah, he came
LAFC, didn't even play, and then he
He's at home
got
watching
cut again.
basketball.
Yeah. That's sad.
He needs to come
Um,
back. He needs a house.
What about you, Joe? Who
that's
are you
rude.
thinking the MLS MVP?
So we've never had back-to-back MVP winner. We only have one player who's won it twice, and that was Preki. I think that's going to change. I think Messi's going to win it again.
Ooh, look at you.
I know it's
Messi.
boring, but Messi, and we saw him topped the combined goals and assists playing only like 20 games last year. So if he's doing it at that rate again, he's just going to win MVP again. It's just inevitable.
They should make 2 trophies.
Does
One for
Messi play
him
more
and-
than Does Messi play more than 20 games this year?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah, because I
can see
mean,
it.
for sure he's gonna have to play the. And you're talking about MLS though.
Just MLS. I'm not talking about the other competitions. Just MLS games.
Okay, then that makes it a little bit more tricky.
I think he does.
I think
I'm
he
sure
does.
he'll play. I'm sure he'll play Leagues Cup and
Yeah.
Right.
they're in the U.S. Open Cup too, right?
Exactly.
Miami.
They're not in leagues.
No, they're not in U.S. Open Cup.
because they're on the FIFA.
There's
Club
only
World
Oh, then
two,
the
yeah.
world, yeah,
Yeah.
Club.
So that's technically. So they're
Was
only
that
playing
was
two things.
38 games in the season, right?
30,
It's 34.
34.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll
play-
play. He'll
winning
play at
game-
least 25, at least for sure.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. I think I'm gonna.
He'll
go
miss at
over.
least 5. 5 he'll miss for sure.
Yeah.
He
He won't
was on
show
the-
up to the playoffs.
Hopefully not the first
He's on
5.
vacation from like April to June, and then
Yeah, and then he comes back and then he's like, we got to score, guys. All right, Suarez, here you go.
And you also
Yeah.
got to take into account that like some players and coaches get votes in there as well, and they
Yeah.
just fanboy over him, and that's why he won the award this year.
For sure.
I mean, he
They
was
didn't know
good,
any
though.
other.
No, he was damn good. I think he deserved. I don't particularly love an MVP winner not playing as many games as he did. I would have probably given it to Cucho, but I mean, you
But
can't
he-
argue
yeah.
his number. The numbers messy, but I think
And it
he's
was
really
it
good.
was the best team in the league, right? Per se. since
Yeah,
they won the
exactly.
championship. So he had some numbers to back him up, but obviously people are gonna hate on him just because he's messy.
I kind of feel like Luis Suarez should have won it, but
Yep.
yeah.
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 I don't even think he was in the
what-
top voting. What it was, Messi, Cucho, and Evander were the top 3. I think those are the guys nominated.
All
How's
right.
here? Let me throw a random here. How's the SKC looking?
SKC.
Yeah.
They just signed
Didn't they buy somebody?
he's by Manu Garcia for that. The guy who used to play for Man City.
Hmm.
He was like a Man City youth guy. He used to be really good in football.
They got Memo Rodriguez.
Super Memo.
They got Dejan Joveljic from LA Galaxy. That's a pretty
That's the guy
big
that I was
signing
thinking.
for
Yeah, that's
Kansas
the guy.
City.
That was the first. That was the
Who's
first
the other
cash
guy
one.
that Sporting KC signed? They got some guy from Europe who's like an absolute baller winger. Oh, what's his name? Let me figure it out.
We'll give him a listener.
I for this year, I think Luis Suarez may take it.
Suleimanov, that's his name.
But I'm gonna go with Gabriel Peck. You said year number 2. I think Gabriel Peck, if he keeps I mean, there are ridiculous numbers, right? That he had goals and
He
assists.
should have been in the conversation
But-
last year.
I think because Ricky's injured and because Pencil's gonna be out for the beginning of the season, I think that Gabriel Peck, if he keeps those high numbers, I see him being the guy.
Oh,
to
I
win
got
it.
a guy.
You think he could produce those numbers without Painsil and
It's
Puig and
difficult.
Joveljic?
That's what I'm saying. It's difficult. So I mean,
that's,
he's gonna have
that's
to step
3
up.
key starters out, and Brugman's gone too. I mean, they just signed
they're-
another guy for like $5 million on like a U22 initiative defensive midfielder.
This
But like
is true.
Brugman's
I
gone too.
mean-
So is Marky Delgado. He's also gone.
Yeah, they've lost a lot of guys, but I think
I
that
got a good
if
one.
Galen Neal too.
the potential is there, so I'm gonna stick with that one, just because I feel it. But yeah, you're right. I mean, Jalen Neal, yeah, it's another guy that you mentioned. I mean, they've lost a lot of stuff.
That's a lot.
That's
That's what I don't know. They could maybe not make the playoffs depending on how long Puig is out.
Mm.
And if they don't make the playoffs, Peck's definitely not winning MVP.
Save that one for the last slide. But Chris, who's your guy?
I'm gonna pick a guy that hasn't been picked. I know he's gonna break this rule of newcomer, but we haven't mentioned him all night, and he's gonna be a figure that
Oh,
is going to be talked
I know
about
where
a
you're
lot.
going.
Chucky Lozano.
Yeah.
It has to be. Like
Mm.
Oh yeah.
if he's gonna be in a good team, if he's gonna be a contender, if he's gonna have a good team around him.
That's a
Has
good
the
shout.
expansion team ever had a MVP? I don't think
I
so.
don't know.
But they're not
that's
playing
supposed to be-
Germany, so I mean, he's only good against Germany. So
That's true.
Man,
yeah,
I really hope he's not a
expansion
dud.
team has never had one.
Let's hope he's not a dud with the MLS. I mean, I'm just trying to think. Mexican players don't generally have a good season, man. Like
Yeah,
how
I
many
think- I
Mexican
mean,
players actually
Carlos-
had good seasons? Carlos Vela is the only one.
Carlos Vela and maybe Giovanni Dos Santos, like he wasn't terrible.
Giovanni Santos was really good when he came in, and then he just fell off
Yeah.
a cliff.
Yeah. So
I mean,
that's
Chicharito
the
had
only-
a decent first
had-
year when he first came in.
Some flashes. And then what's the guy from,
Chicharito's
Toledo?
second year was really good. He wasn't
Second
great his
year.
first year because he was injured a lot.
COVID.
Yeah, the
all I
COVID
remember
season.
was oh man, I can't even think of the guy's name. But the guy choking him, what's his name? From the Dynamo.
Oh,
You know who I'm
yeah,
talking
I know
about.
you're talking about.
I cannot think of his name.
Wait, who choked who?
Kiki Struna.
Is this the
Yeah,
right show?
Kiki Struna was like, there's that like picture because that was the first game, and then they played away in Sporting Kansas City, and then the world went to shit after that for like 4 months. So that's an
Mhm.
iconic picture. All right, Cesar, I think you haven't said yours.
For MVP, yeah, Dennis Bonga.
Bonga, yeah, he was first.
You started. I don't know why I came back to it. My bad. All right,
So
so
wait, who do we say? Bonga.
so
I said
Bonga,
Lozano,
Peck.
I had Messi.
Messi.
and I said Peck, Gabriel Peck.
Peck. Okay.
There you go.
I forgot about that guy.
Well, talking about goal scorers, who wins the MLS Golden Boot in 2025? Benteke won it last year. I mean,
Held it.
Benteke scored so many goals, yet his team was just not good, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, they were close to making it into the playoffs, but they fell off by goal differences because they scored 52 goals. Benteke scored like half of that, and they got scored 70 goals. So that's your ratios are not good there, man. But Cesar, we'll start with you again, I guess. Or Chris, you want to go? Go for
Yeah,
it.
let me go because I forget. But just because you just because you brought up Benteke, I think Saha in Charlotte is gonna do the same exact thing.
Ooh, you think so?
I don't
I
know.
like that. I
have
actually
a
like that
feeling.
pick a
That's a
lot.
good pick. That's a
I
good
like
pick.
that. Zaha's a baller.
Because
Yeah.
he comes from the Premier League, right?
Oh, well, he was just in
Or-
Turkey with Galatasaray.
yeah,
Right?
okay.
He kind of flopped there.
But he kind of he gives you the same vibe as Benteke in the sense that like he was a well-known name, it's somewhat, and now he's coming to not an inferior league per se, but there's levels to this. You see some guys like Carlos Vela not able to make it, I guess, and then become a superstar. Then you see Ricky Puig
Oh,
not
that's
able.
harsh on Vela. Vela was damn good for Sociedad.
Well, I mean, it's Real Sociedad in Spain. It's
That's
like
a good team.
Hey.
What have they won? When was the last time
Stuff.
anybody said
Well,
Real
because they
Sociedad?
won when he was there. When him and Griezmann were there,
No.
that's when they won stuff.
Yeah, but come on, let's be
Since
honest.
he left,
Let's be honest. But yeah, I'll stick with Saha. I think he'll surprise.
That's
I
a good-
really like
that's-
that name.
I
that's a
like
good
that.
pick,
I like
though.
that pick. That's a good
that's
that's
a
a good
very
wild
good
card
pick.
one.
That's a good pick. Joe, you want to go?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna continue the trend of talking about second year forwards. I'm gonna go with Peter Musa from Dallas. He had a really good year last year as kind of the only player available for most of the season for them. He still managed to score a boatload of goals. Now he's allegedly getting a really good playmaker added to his team, allegedly, per sources. And
Who are they getting?
First sources.
per sources.
Okay, I remember. Now.
And
I forget. These
Eric
things, guys.
Quill. Eric Quill loves a striker who's just like who's a big presence, like he had with Greg Hurst in New Mexico last year. I think Peter Busta could kind of replicate a lot of that and score just a ton of goals. I think that guy's an absolute baller. He was really good with Benfica, and he's also another thing you got to keep in mind. He's not a player who's very involved with his national team as well. That's another big thing. So he's not going to be missing those games.
That's true. Cesar, feel free.
I'm gonna go with a more of a classic one here. I think it's gonna be Luis Suarez. I think so on the same page. He's not playing in the national games anymore, so he's gonna be focused a lot on MLS, and he's been pretty much a threat anytime he goes on the game.
Yeah,
so
he scored 20
I think-
goals, right? Last year.
Yeah, I think he was only like one or two less than Messi, right? Like that was the difference on the score sheet. So no, I'm gonna go with Luis Suarez on this one for the Golden Boot.
That's a pretty good one. Yeah, looking at MLS,
Suarez was tied for second with Messi and
Yeah.
Belonga with 20.
yeah, that's there's a lot of guys that are on that list that are not gone. But I'm gonna be a homer on this one. I think Ponce wins it. I'm just gonna, think again, second year. I think this guy has the ability to score every other game. And if they get the right pieces, especially with that DP10 and the return of Anali and Quinones, as the season progresses, I feel that he possibly could get a good record on goals, man. Again, being a little bit of homer on that, but it would make a lot of sense if they can get it going with him early. And then to finish off, and man, it's been a really good episode, man. Like, thanks, SR, for joining us. Forgot to mention that when you hopped on. But what is your MLS bold prediction for 2025? And Joey, why is Galaxy not going to make the playoffs?
That wasn't my pick. We already talked about that. That was my pick. My pick for bold prediction. I think the Vancouver Whitecaps are going to win the Wooden Spoon.
Ooh, wow.
And just to add to it, their other Canadian team, Toronto, is going to finish bottom of the East.
I don't know why they let Santini go, man. That guy was class, man.
I really liked him. He kind of had a
was he singing
all over the place.
Coldplay? What was he singing?
Well, what did he? You're right. He sang something. I forget.
I
always really liked him. He kind of ran just like an insane offense that was just guns blazing, and that really played into a player like Gauld's strength and Brian White's strengths. And I don't see either of them producing like they did. Fafa Pico's gone. I mean, we all laugh at him because he wasn't doing the Dynamo his last year here, but Fafa Pico was a huge piece for Vancouver last year. He was really good. He torched the Dynamo when they played Vancouver, if you guys remember.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stuart Armstrong's gone as well. He didn't really play a whole lot in Vancouver last year, but he was a big addition, and they really didn't bring anyone in yet. Their biggest addition was Jaden Nelson so far, and he's like a good Canadian winger he was from Norway. He was putting up some decent numbers, but I don't think it's enough for them to stay out of the bottom.
They're gonna go last so they can have the first pick in the college draft next year.
That's right. They want that first overall pick. They're tanking for
get a nice
next
DP
Manning.
10. Can you imagine if that would happen? Like, you get like nice DP10s from college.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be wild. Like a quarterback in the NFL. Every year you get a new 10 DP.
Right.
You want to go next? I'll go next.
Yeah. I was like, Chris, did you think of something?
Yeah, I actually didn't. I thought of something stupid, but I'm gonna say it anyways. The MLS season pass goes up from like $90 to $100. But the views are good though. The views are good.
From $99 to $101.
No, I actually don't have any bold predictions. Somebody else can think of something.
Cesar, you want to go?
Yeah, bold prediction for 2025. Inter Miami doesn't make the playoffs.
Ooh.
And Javier Mascherano gets sacked in the first year.
Get the Paulo Nagamura treatment.
I mean, something like that. Something like that. I don't. Yeah,
9 months in type of thing. That's so funny. Dang, that'd be interesting. I think, man, who has? I mean, Chris, you keep mentioning earthquakes. Earthquakes haven't been to the playoffs in a bit, I believe.
In a while.
They were 2 years ago.
2 years?
No,
ago?
they were in 2023.
Oh, 2023?
2023, yeah, because it was when Espinosa was in the MVP conversation.
You're right. He had like a bunch of goals and assists.
Yeah, Ebobisi had a lot of goals that year too.
But I guess more or less, I was thinking kind of what you had already mentioned, Joey. So mine's easy. I think Galaxy may be the one struggling, but I'm gonna go with LAFC missed the playoffs. That's what I'm thinking. So poor Manny. Sorry, Manny. One of your teams is not gonna be there. My apologies. One of your many teams is not going to be there. So that's my bold prediction.
You think Giroud goes another MLS season without scoring a single goal?
Yeah.
Dang, I forgot that guy's.
He has a whole season though, but
yeah, he didn't score a single time in MLS last year.
It's pretty crazy.
I think he has a good year though. I think he bounces back.
Yeah, it's gonna be just interesting because that's another. I mean, they lost Elias Sanchez. Obviously now he's with Austin, so. Mm-hmm. They've dismantled a lot of their core pieces, so it's gonna be Eric.
They lost. They lost. What's his name? The Polish guy, Bogusz.
Yeah. All right, Chris. Before you forget, I saw you go.
Yeah.
I
had another team that we haven't mentioned a lot. Chicago, first in the East.
Ooh.
Dang.
Okay.
That's bold.
Okay.
Yeah. You gotta at
Hey.
least just have them make the playoffs, man. Before
that boy,
first.
Okay.
that boy is building
Hey,
something too.
It's
He's
like,
the
it's
San
like
Jose of the East.
Bamba and Kuipers are going to be a pretty good forward line.
They're spending
Yeah.
money in Chicago. I mean, they got a nice little check from my boy Duran.
That's right.
So
Man,
they got money to spend now. They got what, like 50 million or something like
Yeah.
that, like added or something.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
got
know.
a lot added. It was like I
Yeah.
think it was like 9 or something million, which brought it to like almost like 30 million total for the whole deal.
That gets you a nice DP in this
That's
part of the
crazy.
world.
that's crazy. And then TSG, which Edson and Richard said, bold prediction: Vancouver moves to Phoenix. So
Yeah.
I would love that.
That'd
Yeah.
be yeah, it'd be close to you for sure. But guys, we've hit the end of the show, man. It's been great. I mean, we've had a lot of people on here watching us live. So of course, if you don't catch it live, you can always come back to YouTube, as you always hit the little bell to get notifications. Go to the live stream, you can catch it there. And of course, the podcast feed will be dropping sometime early tomorrow morning. Cesar, thank you for staying up late. I know you're probably way past your bedtime, man. There's nothing happening right now.
After 35 years old, everything past 9:30 is past your bedtime, so you're fine. No, thanks for having me, guys. Just real quick, another bold prediction. Maybe Vancouver Whitecaps is Messi's team. Wasn't part of the deal for him to come to MLS that he was going to get a majority ownership.
That's true. Yeah.
Maybe that's the move right there.
Right.
You know, where's he going to move it to? Vegas?
That would, Vegas,
Vegas or Phoenix. That needs to be one of the teams. It's like astounding that neither of them have an MLS team yet.
I don't even think Messi would want to move. I don't even think he wants to get to Phoenix.
Imagine Messi in Phoenix.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be Vegas would be probably.
I mean,
Messi
I think no
trade,
matter
man.
what, he's gonna stay in Miami. Like,
Well, yeah.
no matter what, he can put a team wherever. But I don't think
it's just like so bizarre that neither of those teams have. That's such like a major part of the country just has no team, and they put San Diego in before.
They're flyover states, man. You just
what markets are there other than what you got? Phoenix,
Lexington.
They have the Suns. They have
imagine
Cardinals.
San Antonio.
I think
San Antonio's a ranch. we have 3 teams in Texas that we got enough. I'd go with
San Antonio lost their chances when Austin became a thing.
Yeah.
If they would have really pushed, they would have gotten it.
I just hate there being 4 teams in California. We don't need 3 teams in SoCal. It's so silly.
Yeah. No.
I mean, there aren't really that many markets left. What? Lexington, Kentucky is one of them, maybe.
Yeah. New Orleans.
Something like that would be
New Orleans and Detroit are like the only 2 east side. Milwaukee too, and then west it's really just Vegas and Phoenix.
Yeah,
there's not much in the west.
But I think they need one for Vegas. I think how many teams are in MLB? Is it 32? Or NFL is it 32?
Yes,
32 teams.
32 teams on both.
What about San Francisco?
Or 30?
They have San Jose though.
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh, that's right there. That's so many teams in California.
Yeah. I could. Nevada would be cool. Who wouldn't want to go to Nevada to go watch a game? You know, they did really well whenever in the beginning when they did Vegas Lights, and they would like have the helicopter drop money and
that's wild.
I think the Golden Knights, since they moved there, have done really good attendance numbers for hockey, and then same with the Raiders since they've been back in Vegas, because Vegas is really becoming just a bigger entertainment.
All right, this one's funny. I mean, Houston is that big. Might as well put it. LA has 2 teams
for the north side. Imagine
for the north side.
Right of a 45 and 610.
Just put one in Woodlands FC. Put one in Katy.
On the other side of the airport.
Man, that's too funny, man. But
look, man, we can't even fill one stadium. Let's hold up on that one.
This is true.
This is true.
This is true.
Esther, where can the people follow you, man?
Just follow me. Just find me on social media with my last name, just PROCL Procel anywhere. And if you get a chance, if you want to follow an all MLS dedicated, we started this little project last year. I look for MLS all day on YouTube, and give me a follow there. We're planning on in the future adding more.
We need to add content to it.
We need to throw Joey in there, bro.
And we gotta
let's do it, man. I need some collabs, so let's do it.
Yeah,
I'm always up.
And obviously, you have Encanchados 10 in the morning.
Yeah, 10 a.m. Enganchados on 93.3 FM in Houston or the Euphoria app. But I mean, yeah, let's
And while it's
just
the Spanish show for the most part, right? I don't be afraid, man. If you only speak English, like Cesar will translate. It's fine. I've seen you
dude,
do it a few times, man. People call in, they're scared, and they're like,
just
dude,
talk. Like
just
we all
talk.
speak English here. Like most people, I think most people now, and especially in Houston, most people can understand both.
Hmm.
And nobody gets mad anymore. A few years back, talking in English on the radio and Spanish radio was like a big taboo. Now it's like it's normal. In fact, it's more normal now that people listen to Spanish radio but only speak English. That's normal too.
Yeah.
I mean, I got my kids listening to freaking Cristian Odal, and they don't even speak Spanish. So that's just the kind of
I remember that video. Botella tras botella.
yeah, dude. Then you then like
kids.
the other day, my
The
son
beers.
Max, he just busted out with a song by Diego Verdaguer. I was like, what? How do you what? He's talking about usted quería, and I was like, what?
Your kids are more Mexican than me, man. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
like, he's more Mexican than me, and I'm like, all right, cool. You don't speak Spanish, but you got usted quería playing on Alexa. I bet.
That's hilarious, man. But man, guys, been a fantastic show. We hopefully can have you again, Cesar, and I know we'll probably jump on your show as well. So if you listen to Encanchados, you may see Bayou City Soccer, Chris or myself stop by and talk Dynamo, man, and MLS for sure, guys.
This Thursday. This Thursday.
Yes, yeah.
You got-
So Thursday, what can you give a little bit of details on what's happening on that Thursday?
Yeah, so we're going to be
or-
broadcasting live from the Dynamo team store on Thursday. I mean, I was going to say it's a big reveal, but it's been all over, it's all over social media already. But jersey reveal on Thursday at the Dynamo team store at Shell Energy. So we're going to be broadcasting from there 10 a.m. And, Christian and Rudy from Bayou City Soccer are going to be there as well. Joe, I mean, I don't know if you work in the morning, but if not, you're more than welcome to join us on Thursday.
That's a trek for me.
Oh, yeah, you're pretty far. I don't know where you work.
Yeah, I live out of state.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
probably not worth the drive then.
Yeah, no. I wish.
Hey, just leave your house now. You'll get here on time, bro.
I'll start getting over.
But,
Just say
no,
I-10.
I'm looking forward to that. But guys, man, thank you again so much. Thanks, Edson, for being so fantastic in the background, man, and helping us run all the slides. Anything you want to add, Edson? I mean, you have a decent shirt on, man. You took away the Real Madrid jersey. Now you have the beautiful, what was that? Hold it down, kid. He's muted, isn't he?
He's muted.
And I just want to thank Cesar, for coming on the show. It was just very interesting listening to all of your predictions, and I'm really looking forward to making that reaction video of let's see how. Hopefully, there will be more hits than misses at the end of the season.
Throw us some predictions, Edson. What you got?
Oh man.
What you got? Dynamo, were they finishing?
Yeah, just give us that
Okay. Okay. Dynamo, I think they're going to be finishing fourth.
Fourth. All right.
Yes.
He's high on that. I like it, man. But don't worry, there will be an article with this. Cesar, we may go and throw in yours as well since you gave us some, but we'll put Edson's as well in there, man. And I mean, Cesar, you talk for a living, man. You probably forgot what you said now. You probably say that they don't make the playoffs on the next episode and so forth. I know the feeling because then you look back and I'm like, can't remember what I said.
Yeah, there's no way I said that. There's no way.
No way.
There's no way. And then bam, there's a way.
But guys, man, thanks so much. Chris, you already told the people how they can connect, man. But obviously, make sure to check out social medias, Bayou City Soccer. Check out BayouCitySoccer.net. With that, don't forget to hold it down and keep it forever orange. And we'll see you next week. Peace.